Duh, we know this.
Trigger warning. The following video contain discussions of eating disorders. Viewer discretion is advised.
My name is Foodie Beauty, aka Chantal Marie Olive Sarow Miriam El Rafai, and I have binge eating disorder.
For those of you who don't know, I suffer from binge eating disorder.
I think you're gonna be a bit like, duh, we know this. But honestly, as many times as I've heard myself say on this channel that I have a binge eating disorder, this is like the first time that I actually realize what that kind of sort of means more than ever.
Been this way for as long as I can remember in my life. You know, even as a kid, I was always obsessed with food.
I've had binge eating disorder for many years, maybe greater than 20 years.
So this is like a whole new thing for him. You know, I did mention when we met, because I feel it's important to be transparent with somebody, especially if you're planning on marrying them.
Another important thing that I have to do is really sit down and have a talk with him about my medical conditions, like in full. Like,
you know, we're going through it, and he's actually really supportive in a lot of ways. In every way he could be.
I'm gonna do that because he really needs to know, and he, you know, so he can be supportive, and he can also be understanding, you know. And
so I let him control certain things now. And what I'm talking about when I mean control is I'm letting him control things that I have no control over. So yes, I let him control me with eating now, ordering out. So I'm letting him help me with that. And what I mean by that specifically is I've decided to show him everything I eat.
Okay, let's break this down. In the UK, it is estimated that 1.25 million people suffer from an eating disorder. 25% of these people are male. A 2017 study found that anorexia accounted for 8% of these cases. Avoidant restrictive food intake disorder was 5%. Binge eating disorder was 22%. Bulimia 19%, and other specified feeding or eating disorder was 47%. That means 275,000 people, a little over 250,000 in the UK, are estimated to have BED. People with binge eating disorder eat large quantities of food over a short period of time, called binge eating. Unlike people with bulimia, they don't usually follow this up by getting rid of the food, for example, vomiting, though sometimes they might fast between binges. BED is not about choosing to eat large portions, nor are people who suffer from it just overindulging. It is far from being enjoyable. Binges are very distressing, often involving a much larger amount of food than someone would want to eat. People may find it difficult to stop during a binge, even if they want to. Some people with binge eating disorder have described feeling disconnected from what they're doing during a binge, and even struggling to remember what they've eaten afterwards. Characteristics of a binge eating episode can include eating much faster than normal, eating until feeling uncomfortably full, eating large amounts of food when not physically hungry, eating alone through embarrassment at the amount of being eaten, and feelings of disgust, shame or guilt during or after the binge. Someone who experiences at least one of these distressing binge eating episodes a week for the last 3 months is likely to be diagnosed with binge eating disorder. Now that we've got the medical stuff out of the way, let's discuss how all this pertains to Foodie Beauty, shall we? Foodie is a food addict. That is a fact. Foodie also claims to have been diagnosed with BED. That is a fact. The claim, not the actual diagnosis. Foodie has a number of other mental health issues, some diagnosed, some implied, and some speculated. That is also a fact. Of the known diagnosis, one of which has relevance to this conversation, is that of borderline personality disorder. Also relevant is speculated but glaringly obvious the diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder. One of the more relevant characteristics to both BPD and NPD is the tendency to manipulate other people and situations. One observable thing that we all know about Foodie Beauty is that she will use medical conditions as excuses or as a crutch to avoid taking responsibility for things or to avoid doing other things. We've had sciatica, claustrophobia, victim of abuse, victim of a narcissistic relationship, depression, anxiety, migraine, addiction, boils, chub rub, cysts, heat exhaustion, dehydration, withdrawals, cough, cold, tonsillitis, COVID, breathing problems, asthma, and now BED. Now, I'm not saying that none of these things have ever happened, but Foodie is using them as an explanation and justification for not doing things and denying what they really are: excuses. I covered this in my video called I'm Going to Be Blunt, Stop Making Excuses, A Tough Talk and Bitter Pill, where I said, and I quote, "Yes, the things you experienced do explain why your mental health is so poor and why you struggle so much. But it's not an excuse for you to continue allowing it to control you so much. It's your decision not to have gotten or to get the professional help that you need, or to make the effort to work on yourself. It's your fault you haven't gotten better, nor recovered, nor moved on. You choose to be a victim of your past, your present, and your future, and there's no one to blame but yourself. Millions of people every day go through life-changing events, and very few of them will let these events change the way they see the world into something quite so dark as you have." While there is no denying that Foodie has a serious mental issues around food, I can't shake the suspicion that she is using her BED as a manipulation tool to justify future rages, binges, arguments, tantrums, general intolerable behaviour, and her ultimate failure to stick to a healthy eating plan to Salah. Why would I say something so cynical? Because Foodie knows that she will fail. She's kind of hoping she does. And she knows that Salah hasn't got the mental fortitude to stand up to her, and she'll be able to blame, in part, her failure on him. Foodie knows that the only way she will ever recover is to get professional help. She is not stupid. So, I have a proposal for both Foodie and Salah. Salah, Foodie will not get better unless she has a barrage of professional intervention. The only support you can provide, apart from encouragement, is helping her find the medical assistance she needs and encouraging her to take it. And the best place for her to get this help, realistically, given the cost, is in Canada. So Foodie, if you really want to get better, go to Canada and take advantage of all the resources back there. Plan to go for 6 months. If your relationship is as strong and as supportive as you claim, Salah will be there waiting for you with loving arms when you come back, and together you can begin the life you both wanted. If Salah truly loves you and truly worries about your health, he will not only let you go but will encourage you. If you truly want to recover, you will go for both you and your husband. This would be the ultimate test of your strong, supporting, loving relationship, and what committed, loving couples all over the world would sacrifice for each other if they knew it meant a long and happy life together. So,